Adrenal glands are also known as suprarenal glands. Why adrenal glands are known as suprarenal glands? Because adrenal glands are located on the top of each kidney. To be very specific, they are located above the upper pole of each kidney. That means there are a pair of adrenal glands. There are two adrenal glands. One is on the right side and another is on the left side. That is right adrenal gland and left adrenal gland. The right adrenal gland and left adrenal gland are different in shape. The right adrenal gland is pyramidal in shape. That is, it is like a shape of a triangle, almost like a triangle. But the left adrenal gland is crescent shaped. That is, it is almost semilunar in shape. Now, if we see the adrenal glands, in case of both right and left adrenal glands, it is divided into two parts. One is the outer part and one is the inner part. The outer part is called the adrenal cortex and the inner part is called adrenal medulla. This outer part of adrenal gland, that is the adrenal cortex, makes up about 80 to 90% of the gland. And the inner part, that is the adrenal medulla, is made up of chromaffin cells. First, we'll discuss about the outer part of the adrenal gland. That is, we'll discuss about adrenal cortex. That is the outer part of the adrenal gland. This adrenal cortex, that is the outer part of the adrenal gland, is divided into three layers. The outermost layer, the middle one is the thick layer, and the innermost layer. The outermost layer is called zona glomerulosa. The middle layer is the thickest layer among these three, and this is called zona fasciculata. And the innermost layer is called zona reticularis. So, adrenal cortex is divided into three layers. The outermost layer is called zona glomerulosa. The middle layer, which is the thickest layer, is called zona fasciculata, and the innermost layer is called zona reticularis. The outermost layer and the middle layer, that is zona glomerulosa, and the middle layer, that is zona fasciculata, they secrete corticoid. Now there are two types of corticoid. One is mineralocorticoid, another one is glucocorticoid. Now what is the difference between mineralocorticoid and glucocorticoid? Mineralocorticoids are such corticoid which regulate water electrolyte balance. What I have told? Mineralocorticoid are those corticoid which regulate water electrolyte balance. And what are glucocorticoid? Glucocorticoids are such corticoid which are involved in carbohydrate metabolism. Glucocorticoids are such corticoids which are involved in carbohydrate metabolism. Now this mineralocorticoid and glucocorticoid are secreted from these two layers, the outermost layer and the middle layer. Now which layer secrete glucocorticoid and which layer secrete mineralocorticoid? The outermost layer of adrenal cortex, that is zona glomerulosa, they secrete mineralocorticoid. And the most important mineralocorticoid in human body is aldosterone. So the outermost layer of the adrenal cortex, which is known as zona glomerulosa, they secrete mineralocorticoid, and the most important mineralocorticoid is aldosterone. Whereas the middle layer, which is the thickest layer, which is known as zona fasciculata, they secrete glucocorticoid, and the most important glucocorticoid is cortisol. We will discuss the function of each hormone. We will discuss. Now, the innermost layer, which is known as zona reticularis, they secrete adrenal androgens. These adrenal androgens are also known as androgenic steroids. Okay, adrenal androgens are also known as androgenic steroids, but they are secreted in very small amount. The innermost layer, that is zona reticularis, secretes small amount of adrenal androgens like DHEA. What is DHEA? Dehydroepiandrosterone. Dehydroepiandrosterone. Along with that, another adrenal androgen is secreted, that is known as androstenedione. Now, what are the function of these steroid hormones? If we consider the outer part of the adrenal gland, they secrete mineralocorticoid, that is aldosterone. They secrete glucocorticoid, that is cortisol. They secrete adrenal androgens like DHEA and androstenedione. Now, first we'll discuss the function of mineralocorticoid, that is aldosterone. What is the function of aldosterone? Aldosterone mainly act at renal tubule. They stimulate the reabsorption of sodium ions and water, and they stimulate the excretion of potassium ion and phosphate ions. Thus, it helps in the maintenance of electrolytes. What I have told, what is the function of aldosterone? That is the main mineralocorticoid. They mainly act at the renal tubule and stimulate the reabsorption of sodium ions and water. Along with that, it also stimulates the excretion of potassium ion and phosphate ions. Thus, helps in the maintenance of electrolytes. Now, we'll discuss about the function of glucocorticoid. The main glucocorticoid in human body is cortisol. Glucocorticoids stimulate gluconeogenesis. Now, what is gluconeogenesis? Gluconeogenesis is the process where glucose is produced from non-carbohydrate substance. So, in the process of gluconeogenesis, glucose is produced from non-carbohydrate substance, and as glucose is produced, it will increase the level of glucose in blood. So, due to the influence of cortisol, what will happen? The blood glucose level will get increased. Along with that, glucocorticoids like cortisol stimulate lipolysis and proteolysis. Along with that, glucocorticoids like cortisol, they suppress inflammation in our body. They suppress inflammation. Now, I will discuss about the function of adrenal androgens like DHEA, dehydroepiandrosterone, and androstenedione. What are the functions of these adrenal androgens, which are also known as androgenic steroid? They are involved in the development of secondary sexual characteristics like growth of pubic hair, growth of axial hair, growth of facial hair during puberty, and they are also involved in libido. Now we will discuss about the inner part of the adrenal gland. The inner part of the adrenal gland, what I have told, what it is called? It is called adrenal medulla. And this adrenal medulla is made up of chromaffin cells. We have already discussed. Now, these adrenal medulla secrete two types of hormone. One is epinephrine, which is also known as adrenaline, and another one is norepinephrine, which is also known as noradrenaline. So, the inner part of the adrenal gland, which is called adrenal medulla, they secrete epinephrine and norepinephrine. That is, they secrete adrenaline and noradrenaline. This adrenaline and noradrenaline are collectively called as catecholamines. That means epinephrine and norepinephrine are collectively called as catecholamines. Now, what is the function of these catecholamines? Catecholamines, that is epinephrine and norepinephrine, or we can say adrenaline and noradrenaline, they are secreted in response to stress and during emergency situation to provide fight and flight response to the body. So this epinephrine and norepinephrine, or we can say adrenaline or noradrenaline, they are secreted in response to stress and during emergency situations to provide fight and flight response. Thus it increases the heart rate. It strengthens the heart contraction. What will happen? It will raise the BP. It will raise the breathing rate. And there will be piloerection. What is piloerection? That is the goosebumps. It will increase sweating. It will increase pupillary dilation and increases alertness. And at the same time, these catecholamines, that is epinephrine and norepinephrine, they will help in the breakdown of glycogen, and this will increase the level of glucose in blood. So this is the overall function of adrenal gland. So we have already discussed what are adrenal glands, why they are called suprarenal glands, because we have already discussed about the location of that glands and the different region of that glands, and what are the hormones that are secreted from those different region of the gland, and what are the functions of those hormones. We have already discussed that.